Our job at People Insight is to help HR become data-driven. It's as simple as that, but we enable that with a predictable and an accelerated business model and platform. Over my 25-plus year career in HR data and HR systems, I've made a number of observations and realizations, and that's formed really my business. I'm going to step out of HR and make an analogy over in a world that we all know and have experience with, which is online flight bookings. Let's take a minute here. And the realization is data has transformed the way that we engage from a flight booking perspective. The way that we go and interact with the 100,000 flights per day, the online inventory, the first thing that we do when we book a flight is we go and search and filter and discover based on our specific criteria. It's the first thing that we do. And that's a very sophisticated piece of these platforms, which is the search and discovery capability. That's a data warehouse that's actually processing and running that. It's incredibly complex, but it gets us to the piece and the actual product that we're going to buy. So when we move through that selection process and actually select and lock in that inventory and process that transaction and do the financial side and assign it to us, that's what I'm going to call the transaction piece. First thing that we do is we search and discover. Second thing that we do is we transact. The first piece of data discovery in the online world is really, really complex. The second piece is sophisticated, but it's quite predictable and less complex. And if we flip that back to human resources and the world of human resources that we live in, what we've done over the last 25 system-driven years is really transact, okay? It's flipped. So search and transact in the new transformative business models. Search and discover, first, then transact. In HR, we transact first, and then we search and discover. And we're using also largely basic tools for that discovery piece in the world of HR. Okay? And this is problematic, and as I think about the future of work, it's not always the case, but I think we have to flip that model a little bit more and use our data to drive the actual transactions that we're doing in HR. Now, each of those systems have sophisticated transactional data processing, but they aren't data warehouses. Okay? They don't have the ability to have multi-system, multi-dimensional discovery capabilities, which is what you're going to have to move to if you really want people analytics. So observation and realization number one is that you can't expect your transactional HR technology to deliver people analytics. Okay? It's not going to happen. So what you have to move towards is something a little more sophisticated to work with your transactional technology to enable that data to come together. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Second thing is as Stacia talked about yesterday, one of the key realizations, your HR people and data is everywhere. We're buying new products, new transactional products. We're generating these additional separate sources. They're all built in with different data models, different schema, and that stuff has to come together for people analytics to actually be enabled. That's only accelerating moving forward. But the way that a lot of organizations make progress here is you put a little team together, you start to kludge, you move out of Excel, and you move into maybe an on-the-desktop business analysis tool. You buy some stuff, you play around, but that taps out really quick. And for me, I like to tinker at home and do-it-yourself projects every now and again. And when my wife goes away and I have a little project to do, I sometimes meet the need, but in Silicon Valley parlance, it often doesn't scale. So every now and again, you might actually be getting yourself to a prototype phase that cannot scale and you need to look for something different to enable this broader solution. Do-it-yourself projects can sometimes go wrong. The fourth reason, the realization, and one of the key things, the key messages that we've got today for you, is data management for HR data is incredibly complex, okay? So a lot of talk around the end solutions and the end use cases. The real science and the dark art almost is down in the data management side of things. I know some of you will nod your head, but don't underestimate the complexity of that. But people will say, well, we've been told with our systems we can get APIs, we can have these new integrations that can move data around. Those APIs, remember, were really built around transactional processing, moving small packets of data from one system to another to enable that primary view, which was a transaction. They're not built and designed to enable atomic level detail and movement and atomic data management, which is what is necessary for rich, robust, multi-dimensional people analytics. APIs typically are not for analytics. Next piece of that is the HR data itself, as you know, is nested, it's effective dated, it's even without transacting, we're all getting one day older. We've all got one more day of tenure. We've all got progression in that file. And in order to piece it all together at all points in time, from all these different data models, which are structured around different timelines and different time periods, that's complex. That's really, really hard. But it's necessary for rich analytics. A principle of GDPR is privacy by design, okay? And as you move from the do-it-yourself world of one person hacking and building and moving, 2 minutes, wow. As you move from this world of hacking and building, you don't necessarily always have the scalability to move it beyond that one person. You've got to make sure that data is accessible and used and processed by the right people in the organization. Absolutely paramount. Doing it once, building a one-time, here and now, people analytics use case is really hard and achievable. But if you want to take this to production, if you want to make sure it's deployed out to the organization, that becomes incredibly more difficult. There's many layers to a people analytics solution, from business intelligence, from hardware, security, firewalls, to data model design and optimized for not only processing data, but also delivering data. Many, many pieces that are involved. And this is why our business has focused on this, because that's all really tough stuff to do. And our business is really focused, and our platform is focused around all of that data management and solving this universal problem of HR data all over the place. So you can do smarter hiring decisions, you can understand who creates value in the organization, and you can drive ROI. This is where we live on the great piece of landscape research that's been done. We're a multi-source analysis platform. That is built around raw, untransformed data coming into our platform. It's built around that being mashed together at all points in time to be optimized for HR data warehousing. And it's built around secure, cloud-based delivery of the right information to the right people based on privacy and security requirements. The last bit I'd like to mention, given the time, is we find that our business model and platform doesn't work for everybody. Companies who are running with 5,000 or so employees, it's a perfect fit for many reasons. One is you've got tons of data, you've got tons of value locked in that data, and the last thing is you may have limitations internally on how much you can build and how much you can scale yourself. So we're a great partner in that particular instance. Thanks to the PAFOW community, Insight 222. It's a great initiative, and thanks for propagating this conversation. Cheers.
Thank you, John.